Atul Jani couldn't help herself from beaming as she danced the well-known steps, gliding from partner to partner. Break from the partner, and the women made several counterclockwise moving circles, whilst the men made a larger circle around them. Beat, beat, beat her wide, circle-cut skirt with a multitude of petticoats swirled around her, then break the circle and take the hand of the nearest man. Process around each other, move to the next 3 times, then repeat. She spared a glance to the table where her fiancé Faisal sat with his deputies. Working, planning, scheming, whatever he did to occupy his time. It was clearly more important than the festival. Whatever, not my problem. They were a year into the trial marriage, and he barely knew her name. She unconsciously touched her still flat stomach. While all High Minister Faisal wasn't entirely disinterested in her physically, he had made it clear he was far more interested in her connections and ability to help run his increasingly complex household. She watched him stuff a handful of spider legs in his mouth, spilling bits of the crispy fried skin down the front of his tunic as he attempted to chew, talk, and point at ledgers all at the same time. Somehow, she figured she would manage to survive his inattention. She switched partners. It was a man only a couple inches taller than herself, light skin like hers but with grey-blue eyes and jet-black hair. He looked exotic. She must have stared too long, because he winked at her before handing her off to the next partner. Jenny smiled more, might as well have as much fun as she could. It was odd, but she was actually happier now that she'd accepted reality. She was going to marry Faisal, probably have a dozen of his kids and die in childbirth. The fate of the highborn. Well, highborn women. She added one of the optional flourishes in the circle dance. Faisal was still balls deep in his schemes. He was a pig, but at least a busy pig, and he was an important minister. Important enough to have to make an appearance at festivals, and busy enough to pass off the social duties to his newest wife-to-be. 6 hearths with 4 festivals each year. She was practically living the life of a wandering merchant. His first 2 wives even went by themselves to represent him fairly often, so why not make the most out of a short life? Indulge in the vices at the various festivals. Her soon-to-be husband was too busy to attend it. Wasn't like she was going to love long enough to suffer in old age. They finished the circle and split off to the waiting mates, and it was the same pale, blue-eyed, black-haired man. Jenny must have done a double take. She didn't know the calculations offhand, but was fairly certain it wasn't a thing to repeat partners in a group this big. He gave her hand a squeeze before releasing her to the next partner. Jenny added another optional flourishes. Her back was turned before she could see a reaction. She loved